It's an interesting dynamic that's going on with the Dolphins because the the lack of synergy is also the lack of practice, the lack of continuity. And so when you don't have the same quarterback, you don't have continuity. When you have receivers coming in and out and pulling themselves out like Tyreek and Waddle do, which is something they need to look at. And they need to know who's out there on the field, because when you call a play and it's Robbie Chosen and clearly he ran the wrong route, they cut his ass. So you've got to make sure you have the right people in the play. You've got to make sure that people are playing and that they have chemistry. And so when Javon Holland doesn't practice much and Poyer doesn't practice practically at all, comes back in the last week and a half, really, and what's it called? Ramsey. Also, then you have the breakdowns in the secondary. That's those breakdowns in the secondary and all that. That's from a lack of playing time, no chemistry. You haven't played with each other. All that stuff needs to be synced in. Everything. You saw the defense get better in the second half against Seattle. Yeah, they made the mistake. I get it, but they got better. And so continuity is so important. People will say, well, you got to play Patrick Paul. No, you got to play Kendall Lamb. Continuity. Right? He's the guy that's played left tackle when Teron Armstead is out. Now, if you're out of the playoff race, then you start playing Patrick Paul. But when you're trying to win games, you have to play the established guy that knows the offense. Teron Armstead said it took him a year to learn this offense. So where do you think Patrick Paul is learning this offense? If it took Teron Armstead a year to be comfortable in it. That's Teron Armstead. So continuity is so important everywhere. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You got to play the receivers that you know are the ones that have got to get it done for you. Your secondary has got to be playing together. If they don't practice together and play together, they cannot be sharp. And that's what you've seen some of, because Poyer hasn't practiced much, so he hasn't been sharp. Holland hasn't practiced as much, and then Ramsey hasn't practiced at all. So all of this is going to take some time, and it sucks, because then the Tua injury happens, and that throws everything off kilter. You're lucky that when Armstead goes down, you have the continuity of Kendall Lamb, and that's why Kendall Lamb played well and you didn't miss a beat. Overall, that was not one of your issues. You know what I'm saying? So continuity is very important right now, and they've got to figure out a way to, okay, it cannot be Hill one play and then Smythe and then Jonnu, and Jonnu also doesn't have a lot of continuity with the offense and the quarterback, and then the backup quarterbacks on top of all of that. Not just your starter, but the backups. Continuity. All of these things are affecting the Dolphins in the first couple of weeks, and then you throw in the Tua injury, and holy shit, this becomes a just, and we're all walking on the ledge, and we're all, but we all got to take a couple steps back. And that's why if you're just not going to tank it and you're going to play this game, then you got to try to win here, right? And so you got to try to develop as much continuity as possible, as soon as possible. And that's getting these guys on the field and getting them playing time. And hopefully with that playing time, everybody starts to get better. Next couple of weeks, you got winnable games. But can Mike McDaniel coach you out of those games? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. You're going to need to make sure you have Waddle and Tyreek on the field as much as possible and in key moments. It cannot be backups. And you can't be putting Durham Smythe in those situations, because it's not fair to Durham Smythe, because he's not a good receiver. So when he drops that ball in the end zone, that's your fault. You signed Jonnu Smith for a reason. Use him, dude. Use him. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand it. So continuity is going to be very, very important for Miami.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.